All right, so you want to know how to measure the return on investment of search engine optimization. This is a very frequent question that our agency gets. So I'm just going to dive into that because it can be complex, but it doesn't need to be overly complex. So what is the challenge? The challenge is that so many people invest in search engine optimization and they just don't get results. So they've never experienced what it's like to actually rank on the first page of Google. So they shell out, let's say, $1,000 a month to an agency, or they pay somebody a full-time salary, and they've made this investment and they just kind of get burned because they don't see the results. That's the challenge with search engine optimization, is that there's no guaranteed results. So you want to make sure, obviously, that you can measure the ROI. Why it can be worth it. Let's just say you're a pizza delivery company and you're in the suburb, and I'm just going to use the reference of Solon, Ohio, okay? So you're in Solon and you rank #1 on Google for Solon pizza delivery. Let's say you get 10 orders per day because of that organic placement, and each order is $25. That's $250 that you're making per day from SEO. You don't have to pay per click. You've earned that placement. So really, that's a lot of profit that you're getting. That doesn't even take into consideration, well, what if that customer becomes a repeat customer? What if they refer a friend? You start to see how a $1,000 agency fee can be minuscule in the grand scheme of things if you rank in a position where you're getting that profit. So I just try and get people in that mindset because A, it can be challenging. You can get burned and it can't work, or it can work and it can be one of the best investments you've ever made, but that's why it's important to overall measure the ROI. So how do you do that? One of the first things is like the upfront strategy. That's absolutely crucial. If the agency you're working with or the in-house person that you have is not asking you a lot of questions about your business and getting an understanding of your business, there's a problem. Like the ROI of SEO, it all starts with the upfront strategy. First off, the profitability of service or products. I gave the example of the pizza delivery place. Let's take our agency, the Media Captain. If somebody was internally on our team, was working on our SEO, and all of their focus was going towards graphic design, that's not one of our most profitable services. So that's not where the effort should be started. And really, there should be more focus on SEO and web design. Let's say you're doing work for a personal injury attorney. Well, this happened where we were working with a PI attorney. The firm before them was putting so much focus on workers' compensation, they hardly made any money off of that. All of their money was made off of medical malpractice. So you need to know where the business is generating its revenue and then devise the strategy based off of that information. The value of each customer or order, going off of the personal injury attorney, one case could be millions of dollars. Whereas the pizza delivery, one order is $25. So obviously with pizza, you're getting a lot more volume. With PI attorney, it might only be a couple of leads that could pay the bill for an SEO company. So in order of measuring the ROI of SEO, know the value of your product or your service, and keep track of whether or not you're getting an increase in leads, and we'll go more into that. The most important markets to target. So if you're not honing in on the right markets, you're going to miss the boat. If you're a suburb, let's say, and you're a dental practice, most dental practices drive their traffic based off of a suburb-specific search. So it's not going to be like a city search like Columbus Dentist. You probably have a higher likelihood of converting for Grove City Dentist, which is a suburb. So you want to make sure in the SEO strategy that is defined, as that's going to be very important. The next one is keyword research. You want to make sure that you're finding the right keywords. If you have irrelevant keywords, you could just be wasting your time. And really, you have to marry up the keywords to the target market. So all of these things in the upfront strategy help ultimately, will help you measure the ROI of SEO. All right, I'm going to jump over here a little bit. The next thing is monitoring work. So what we see all the time is people come from other agencies and they're just like, I didn't understand what was being done. It was over my head. They were saying this was being done. Two simple questions, guys and gals. What was done and what were the results? Each month you should be asking, what was done? Was it on-site SEO? Was it a blog? And what were the results? So great, a blog was written. Did that blog generate any backlinks? Did that blog actually get new business coming in from searches? So like This is very important. We wrote a blog for an endodontist. It's like what foods not to eat after a root canal. They got 14,000 visits on that blog last month, right? That blog, it doesn't drive them new customers, but it's getting a lot of backlinks, which ultimately is helping their local SEO. So there's like a play behind it, but you need to understand if what's being done is actually working. All right, I'm gonna take a deep breath real quick. I do wanna give a shout out to my sister because she put this all together, and even Kevin, who's filming right now, he was really impressed with that. And I just needed to take a deep breath because that was like one massive run-on sentence. Okay, the next thing is keyword tracking. So you wanna be tracking, so we utilize for our clients, we utilize SEMrush. There's SEMrush, there's Moz, there's Ahrefs. There's a lot of different softwares out there. To measure the ROI of SEO, you need to know where you started before you started working with the SEO company or the in-house person and where you're going. So we have reports that get sent out to our clients either daily, weekly, and it shows them their position. It shows them the keyword. It shows them the locale of where they want to rank, and it also shows them versus competitors. So I hit on competitors, I hit on locale, I hit on location. You got to be tracking that. There's also snippets, video, reviews. There's multiple ways to rank on Google. We're filming this video right now. Hopefully you found it on Google. That would be, positive ROI possibly. So you just want to be tracking all of those things. So the common question then is like, okay, I'm tracking my keywords. I've seen, and I'm seeing an uptick in ranking. Well, how do I measure the ROI? That's really where you go into analytics and conversion tracking. So a mistake that we see often is people just say, they look at organic and they're like, oh, my organic's up year over year. Well, for that endodontist, like obviously their organic's going to be up because we just drove 14,000 visitors to a blog post, but that doesn't necessarily mean that our local SEO strategy is yielding results. So you want to be looking at what I call the money pages. So the contact page, the location pages, the service specific pages. Like, are you seeing a month over month, a year over year increase? Within analytics, you can be tracking conversions. For e-commerce, you can be tracking e-commerce conversion value. So you want to have, at the end of the day, you want to see an uptick in rank, you want to see an uptick in organic, you want to see the money pages on your site increase, and if those things are happening, you're going to see a positive ROI on SEO, but ultimately, I say, it comes back to what was done, what were the results, and then how are you tracking that?